Hello, folks. Hello, citizens of the kingdom of God. Hello, citizens of the of Earth. I hope that everybody is doing good out there where you guys are at. Brian here again, coming at you with the 7 aspects of life into the 7 channels of life. The channel that talks about all the things that we need to constantly take care of so that we can reduce any distractions, any obstacles, any we can smoothen out the potholes. We can figure out where the pitfalls are at. We can figure out where the landmines are, for the purpose of helping us to reduce anything that will slow us down or make us stop or distract us or produce any resistance as we continue to fulfill our purposes on a daily basis and work on having our dreams come true. Obviously chasing our purpose first, and then our purpose helping us to fulfill our dreams. That's what we do in this channel. We talk about those 7 aspects. We focus on those because that's your vehicle that helps you to get to the destination that you try to get to. Because every day as you continue fulfilling your purpose and as you continue working on your dreams coming true, then you will encounter obstacles and resistance and things that slow you down and challenges and so we need to be prepared, reduce the surprises, reduce the mystery, reduce the guesswork. We knowing that the 7 aspects of life are really one unit, but sometimes you need to dissect something so you can find out exactly how to work with it. They say you eat an elephant one bite at a time, and they say when you have a big project, you divide it into smaller portions, smaller manageable portions, and then when you put those 2 together, they add up to this the results that you're looking for. They add up to the large project that you have. So the 7 aspects is a large project that we divide into 7. And when you look at everything in life, you can fit everything into any of the 7 aspects of life. And if it's something that can be used across the board, then it's probably a tool. I've talked about that in a video in the past. And when it comes to mentorship or colleagueship or menteeship, that's something that you can use across the board on all the 7 aspects. When it comes to tools like taking advantage of the sunlight, taking advantage of maybe the weather, taking advantage of an environment, those are things that you can also use across the board. When it comes to the 7 habits, those are tools. So anyway, just a snippet of what the 7 aspects are in case you're watching this video for the first time. But there's videos at the bottom or at the top that if you scroll will explain a little bit more, focus on what the 7 aspects are and a little bit more details. So this video today is about we've already talked about the 7 habits of highly effective people. And that's the habits, that's the attitude, the habits that we need to have so we can be the most effective and the most efficient when it comes to things and effective when it comes to people. Because you have the attitude, and then you have the it's like if you're driving, for example, you're driving your car and you're headed to a certain destination. The car would be metaphorically would be considered the 7 aspects of life, making sure that everything in the car is running good. And 7 habits would be the attitude you have as you're driving. Maybe stuck in traffic, or somebody cuts you off on the highway, or anything that you might encounter on your way to your destination. You need to have both your car working in good condition and you having the right attitude, the right habits, mentality to get there safely. You don't want to have road rage. You don't want to for example, getting lost, just your behavior generally as you head towards your destination. That's what the 7 habits help us with. So today we're going to focus on, we've already focused on the first aspect, which is your spiritual aspect in relation to the 7 habits. And we've already talked about the second aspect, which is your soul in relation to the 7 habits. And we've also talked about the third aspect, which is your physical aspect in relationship to the 7 habits. And this video today is going to focus on the fourth aspect, which is your financial aspect and the relationship it has with the 7 habits of highly effective people. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first habit is being proactive and not reactive. So proactivity means that you're in control. It means that you don't get controlled by outside forces. Like if you're planning on doing something, no matter what's trying to stop you, distract you, slow you down, that you're just focused on whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So being proactive means you're in control. So when it comes to finances, your financial aspect of life, you should know that you're in control, and it doesn't matter if the economy is tanking. It doesn't matter if the stocks are going up and down. It doesn't matter if where the market is going. It's just that it doesn't affect you in a way that it's not controlling. You're not like a flag on a pole, getting blown about by the wind. You're not like just going all over the place, based on where the wind is going. So you are like an anchor, like a ship that's anchored in the middle of the ocean, and and the ocean has the waves are going all over the place because the ship has an anchor based onto the bottom of the ocean. The ship doesn't get tossed around, or even if it does, it doesn't really move. So that's what being proactive lets you know, that you have an anchor. You don't have to be pushed around by anything. Now, the second habit, which is starting with the end in mind, is what follows, because now that you're in control, so what do you do then? So then you decide the destination that you want to live in. You decide what your destination is going to look like. And how do you do that? You can go to the end, towards the end of your life. That is sometimes very, very effective, and see what your financial aspect, what do you want it to look like towards the end, or you can even divide that into sections to maybe in 2-year goal setting, or 10-year goal setting, or 50, whatever it is that you need. But towards the end of your life, what do you want to leave here? What do you want it to look like? And whatever that is, you write it down in a mission statement form. So that'll be your guideline, that'll be your mantra, that'll be your philosophy. So anytime that anything happens that's into your financial aspect, you go to your mantra, you go to your mission statement, and you decide what your mission says, and then you act accordingly. So that's just like taking the vision, looking at what you want it to look like, and then reducing it to a paragraph or 2 or pages. And now it might take a while for you to come up with one that you're completely satisfied with. So that's not a problem. You can write it as many times as you want, and you can also review it and rewrite it as you go along life, because sometimes our priorities do change. So you get to do that. And once you've written your mission statement, now you have a guideline that'll get you to the destination you're trying to get to. And of course, we've talked about the financial aspect being divided into 3. There's only 3 things you can do with money. Give it away. There's 3 things you should do with money. Give it away, give some of it away, save/invest, because saving is also like an investment, because you're investing in your future. Maybe you're saving to do something. That's an investment in your future. And the third thing you do is spend it. So there's three things. You have to do those three things to be in balance. You have to do those three things to keep the currency. You know, even money is called currency because it's a flow. It flows. You have to do those three things to keep that flow going. If you do only two or you do only one, then you know you kind of like affect the flow of the currency of your currency. You know, so that's one thing that you do. You write a mission statement based on all those three things, and you know, of course, leaving a legacy would be important too. And then, of course, earning. You know, earning first. You know, I believe that we should all have more than one source of income. Just like, you know, manufacturers always put a spare tire in the car for just in case, but we never have a spare income for just in case. We never think like that. Most of people do, but most of us do. I didn't know either until I listened to a very smart person. So that is the second habit. You know, in relation, you can come up with many other ways that you can relate the second habit with the financial. So I'm just bringing up a few just to make this video not too long. Now, when it comes to the third habit, which is first things first. You know, what that means is that once now you know what your mission statement is based on the based on your financial aspect, you know, and of course the mission statement that you write should also work in correlation to your purpose mission statement. Your purpose mission statement is the main mission statement for your whole entire life, but when it comes to the department, when it comes to the aspect of your financial you should also have one for your financial aspect, but it should be working, you know, hand in hand with your purpose mission statement. So now when it comes to the third one, is starting with first things first. So first things first is after you've written your mission statement and you've seen the vision, you visualized what it is you want it to look like in the end, then now you come and start building. You start doing the activities that you need to do, you know, in present day that will get you to that destination. So everything you do from now on till towards the vision that you had should be only guided by your mission statement. So you come back and start building, start working towards that destination. It's like, you know, when you have a house, you first do the blueprint first. You put all the dimensions. You have all the you know, landscaping, or everything is planned on paper. And once everybody has agreed and everybody is you know, in unison with what it is that you're doing, then you come and break ground and start building the actual structure. So that's what this is. So that's what the third habit is. First things first. To start doing those things that will take that destination first, because of course there are other things that need to be done on a daily basis, but you work on those things first. So, and then you know, when it comes to the next habit, which is win-win. So whatever it is that you're doing, your mission statement should also make sure that other people are winning, not just you winning. Everything you do is you winning, and other people who are around you, especially the ones who are in your inner circle, are winning too. So when you're becoming better with your money, you're increasing, and your income is increasing, your earnings are increasing, your financial literacy is increasing, then it should not just benefit you, should be able to benefit others. Either you can teach them on what you're doing if they're interested. You know, if they're adults, if they're interested, you can teach them what you're doing. And if there's children, I believe there's no the earliest age you can teach children about finances is when they're in their mother's womb. So that means that as soon as they come out of their mother's womb, you should start teaching them how money works. Well, we gotta start early. There's no, you know. And sometimes we tend to not teach. I know I did that, not teaching my children about money early. I need to, you know, a lot of parents do that, but it's very important that they learn how money works early. You know, so that way, you know, they're not like walking around clueless about how money, you know, works and how you earn money and how, you know, just the world of finances. So okay, so that's win-win. So you are doing things that you know will benefit you and others. You know, when it comes to, you know, sitting on a table negotiating something, when it comes to finances, you make sure that that whatever decision is being made is you're getting something out of it, and the other person is getting out of it. So what you need to have a win-win win-win situation is you need to have consideration of the other person and courage to, consideration, so that you can hear and understand empathetically what it is that they're trying to achieve from this interaction, and then you have the courage to tell them what you're trying to achieve. So you need courage and consideration of the other person. So that's the fourth. The fifth is understanding others before you have them understand yourself. So when it comes to this case, you're trying to you probably have mentors. It's very important to have mentors in everything that you do. If you find somebody who's where you want to go and is willing to teach you, it doesn't have to be one-on-one. If it does, that will be amazing. But depending on your circumstances, it could be videos, it could be books, it could be podcasts, it could be just anything that you can find out there that will get you to the level you're trying to go. There's always a way around every situation. So you understand those people, understand where they're coming from. If they're teaching you to get to a certain level financially, maybe and once you understand them thoroughly, empathetically, then if it's a book you're reading, then then that way you're understanding them before you have them understand you. But you're not really, if you're reading a book, they're not gonna, it's not like you're gonna call them or email them and tell them, I understand where your book is coming from, but this is where I'm coming from. But you can do that on your own when it comes to that. So you're like, okay, all these principles that the person is teaching, how can you apply it? How you understand yourself enough to where you can apply what they're teaching. Or also when it comes to, again, negotiating table, when you're discussing something with somebody and you're trying to come up with a solution that both of you will be satisfied with, then you would have them talk first and listen to them empathetically, listen to them to where you can actually repeat everything they said, probably even better than the way they said it. And once, a lot of people, human nature, once it feels like it's been understood, then it opens up doors of understanding. And sometimes it won't. It doesn't mean that it always works, but majority of the time it does. But even if it doesn't, there's always, if you can't come up with something that both of you can agree on, then there's always agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. Agreeing to disagree just means that there's room to, maybe you can come back later, maybe if circumstances have changed or opinions have changed, and you can try again. But leaving the negotiation table with agree to disagree is actually a good thing. It's part of win-win, because we have three areas when it comes to negotiation. You have win-win, and then you have win-lose, whereby you win and the other party loses. And then you have a lose-win, where you lose and they win. And then you have lose-lose, where both of you lose. And then the other one, last but not least, is win-win or no deal. So you don't want to go for win-lose or lose-win, because when they lose, then you lose too. And then when you lose, then they lose too, and then you end up losing. So really, anything that has a lose in it is a loss for both of you. Whether you win or they win, it's going to eventually be a loss for both of you. So you always want to look for either win-win. That's the highest level of cooperation. Is either you look for win-win or you look for win-win no deal. If win-win cannot be accomplished, then you go for no deal. Those two are the highest and most important out of all the categories. So anyway, that's the win-win aspect, which is the fifth habit of the out of the 7 habits of highly effective people, in relation to the fourth aspect of life, which is your financial aspect. So now we go to the 6th habit, which is synergizing. How do you apply synergization in the fourth aspect of life, which is your financial aspect? Now, what synergizing means is that you are celebrating your differences. So, for example, all of us on this earth have different skills, and even if we have similar skills, we all have put our fingerprints on those, on how we perform those similar skills. Because if I am a coach and somebody else is a coach and we're both coaching the same game, we're not going to exactly coach, that game exactly the same way. That's why I say we all put our fingerprints on everything that we do, regardless of how similar it is. So synergizing is, you find most of us, we know, like the world, sometimes we fight against our differences. If we're different from the other person, we usually fight against that. But instead we should celebrate our differences, because when we celebrate our differences, I bring in my different skills or natural talents or spiritual talents, gifts, and then somebody else brings their different gifts. Then when we put it together, we can come up with something that we would not have come up with if it was just us. So when it comes to finances, you can have somebody who's really good at marketing, or somebody who's really good at finding ways to increase the income, or somebody who's really good at stocks, or somebody who's really good at investments, somebody who's really good at looking for charitable organizations that we can donate to, somebody who's really good at managing spending, and maybe you're good at marketing. So whatever it is, that skill that you might have, and somebody has a different skill from yours, you can come together and create something that you not have been possible if it was just by yourself. That's how organizations and government works anyway. If you have a business, you have all types of people who have all kinds of skills that put it all together and create a conglomerate, create a company that is functional. You'll have a manager, you'll have an accountant department, you'll have a marketing department, you're going to have an IT department, you're going to have your receptionist, you're going to have maybe maintenance department. All kinds of people come with different skills. So we know how to celebrate our differences when it comes to offices and business and governments. So if we can put that into personal use, then that would be amazing. There's a joke. It's not really a joke, but it's kind of something that really does happen. They say that when people are dating before they get married, their differences attract them to each other. So they attract each other, to each other because of their differences. And then once they get married, they start their differences start causing them to fight each other. So they say differences attract, but after marriage, differences attack. That it shouldn't be that way. So that's why we're doing this video, so that we're not clueless. I'm trying. My purpose for doing these videos is trying to reduce the cluelessness of life, because I know I grew up knowing stuff, but I didn't know enough to where I'm not saying now I'm an expert, but at least I know how to search, I know what to search, I know how to troubleshoot, where to troubleshoot, in case there's a challenge or an obstacle, or there's a resistance, in one of the 7 aspects of life. So I'm just this is to see if we can reduce as much cluelessness in life as possible, and that way we're not guessworking a long life. We're not life is not reduce the mystery, kind of know a little bit more of what we're doing in life, so that way we're not living cluelessly, not knowing what's having situations that are negative in your life. You don't understand why and where they're coming from, because we don't understand. So that's what this channel is really about. So you can synergize. Synergize is very important. Working on your differences and actually seeking out people very different from you is a high level of doing things. Seeking people very different from you and having them help you in areas that you might not be as good as they are. So that's what I would say, one of the many ways. You can apply this in many ways. I'm sure you guys are watching this video smarter than I am, and you can apply all these 7 habits in more than more ways than I'm mentioning here. And then so let's talk about the 7th, and definitely not the least, last but not least, 7th habit of all the 7 habits of highly effective people, which is sharpening your saw. So what this means is that when you're working with tools, you want to make sure that they're in good working condition. If you cut down a tree using a saw, you want it to be sharp, you want it to be working properly, because if it's dull, then that means that you'll have to apply more effort. You'll probably take more time and more energy to cut down that tree. But if you take your time and sharpen that axe, then less effort, less time, and less energy. So that's the same thing when it comes to finances. We educate ourselves. We listen to people who are smarter than us when it comes to finances. We listen to people who where we want to be, and the fact that they're already there and are willing to teach us. So that's in consideration. That metaphorically, that is sharpening your axe, because before you act, you gather information, you gather knowledge. And I'm not saying to the point where you're like having a paralysis. There's people who like they analysis paralysis, whereby you're just gathering information but you're not turning it into action. So don't get analysis paralysis, but try to understand as much as possible, to where when you take action, you're taking wise, smart, intelligent action based on knowledge, based on understanding. So that's what it's called. Before you jump into stocks, understand how they work. Before you jump into spending your money, understand, have a budget. And before you have a budget, maybe listen to somebody who's really good at budgeting money, and somebody who you can relate to, somebody who's willing to teach, somebody who's doing good in that area. You listen to them and maybe trying to emulate what they're doing, and then eventually you can personalize it to yourself, or keep it as the way he has started. Because sometimes I'll listen to some people and I'll do what they're saying, and eventually I'll end up personalizing whatever they said to myself after I've become really good at what they said, or just keep it the way it is, the way they taught it originally. So that would be how I would apply some of the applications I would use the 7 habits on the 4th aspect of life, which is your financial aspect. And again, we're just trying to make sure that every aspect of our life, every corner of our life is touched by purpose. And with that, I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.